Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Arundhati Ramnan and these are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Bank of Japan hikes rates for the first time in 17 years, ending the only negative interest rate regime in the world. Also abandons yield curve control and most of its asset purchase aimed at policy easing. Japanese central bank says a new era of stable inflation is in sight. Sensex turns negative for the year as stock markets continue to decline. Nifty falls below 21,900, ending at the lowest level in a month. Tata Sons sells over 2 crore TCS shares at an average price of 4,043 rupees, raises close to 9,000 crore rupees. Move is in line with the group's plan to cut debt and comply with RBI's upper layer NBFC regulations. TCS shares see the biggest single-day decline in 2 years. Supreme Court orders Yoga Guru Ramdev and Patanjali's managing director Balkrishna to appear in person over a contempt case related to misleading advertisements. The court had earlier asked Patanjali and Ramdev to show cause why they should not face contempt action. Patanjali and Ramdev had failed to file any response. Road Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari responds to opposition's charge of favoritism in infra projects after the electoral bond revelations. Says not a single project was given without an online tender and the process was transparent. Infra companies were among the top electoral bond donors. 93 people, including children, killed in Gaza over the last 24 hours as Israel steps up the offensive. More than 31,800 Palestinians have been killed so far, according to Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. Israel confirms indirect talks have begun with Hamas leaders in Qatar. Begusarai in Bihar is the most polluted city in the world, followed by Guwahati and Delhi, according to a new report. 83 out of the world's 100 most polluted cities are in India. India is the third most polluted country in the world after Bangladesh and Pakistan. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you today. The big story this evening, a historic rate hike in Japan has ended the world's only negative interest rate regime. The Japanese central bank hiked rates for the first time in 17 years. Japan has also abandoned yield control, breaking the shackles on Japanese government securities. The central bank will also end most of its asset purchases, even as some purchases will continue. The Japanese economy has long suffered due to stagflation, which essentially means slow growth and inflation. But now the Japanese central bank says a new era of stable inflation is in sight. Global markets digested the news from the Japanese central bank and are now training their eyes on the US Fed decision later this week. Back in India, the stock markets continued to decline. Sensex lost over 700 points to turn negative for this year. Nifty lost over 1% and fell below the 21,900 mark. All sectoral indices ended in the red. Mid-caps and small caps saw sharper cuts. Prashant Nair is here with a wrap of the market action and the impact of the Japanese central bank's big decision on the global economy. Prashant?
Well, the big story today, of course, was the Bank of Japan increasing interest rates, which was broadly expected by markets. This is the first hike for Japan since 2007. This also makes Japan the last country in the world to exit the negative interest rate regime. So actually, it's a pretty big event, although it was well telegraphed and widely expected, as I said. The price action on the back of this was interesting as well. Basically, although Japan increased interest rates, it also said that it will continue to buy its own bonds, JJBs, which are Japanese government bonds. And the pace will be at a similar pace as earlier. Because of this, some are calling this move by Japan today as a dovish hike. This combined, of course, with the removal of event risk means that markets have been happy to be long the dollar. So the Japanese yen actually was down 0.85% today, and consequently, on the other side, the dollar index itself was up about 0.5% or so. Actually, the dollar index trading just under 104 kind of levels around the time that we closed. All of this, of course, also meant that markets around Asia were under pressure. Actually, most emerging markets in Asia were under pressure. So the Nifty will come up on your screen. Actually, it was broad-based sell-off. Nifty was down about 1%. The Nifty Bank a little better. But the broader market, which is mid-cap and small-cap indices, were widely under pressure as well, about 0.75% to 1.25%. Now, let me come to stocks, right? The large caps, Nifty, BPCL, TCS, Cipla, Tata Consumer, Dr. Reddy's and Nestle are some of the top losers. Actually, the single largest pressure point for the second day running is IT services. On the gaining side, you had Bajaj Auto, Bajaj Finserv and Kotak Bank. Actually, as I said, the financial services part of things did not look all that bad. Broader markets, advance decline was about 2.5:1. Declines outnumbering advances. And here you had Indiabulls Real Estate, big flip-flop, over the last couple of days. Indus Tower, top volume-led loser today. Amber Enterprises, E-Clerks, Tourism Finance Corporation, CRISIL, Tata Investment Corp, and Orchid were some of the other names which were lower. Gains coming through in some names, and I'm only putting out where there were volumes: Triveni Turbine, Torrent Power, and IOL Chemicals. So a down and out kind of a day. The global events which we lined up at the beginning of the week are not done. One is done, but the big one, of course, is still ahead of us, which is the FOMC, the Fed decision, which we will get only on Thursday morning. Back to you.
Right, Prashant, many thanks for those details. Now, veteran investor and BSE member Ramesh Damani feels that froth always exists in the market, gets corrected. However, he said that one should be careful about the stocks he or she was buying. Damani was speaking to Shireen Bhan at the Network 18 Rising Bharat Summit. Frothy market is a condition when asset prices are notably detached from their true intrinsic value. Take a look.
There's always froth in the market, and that corrects itself. Market is correcting. For example, there's some froth in the best private sector bank in India. It hasn't performed for 3 years. So the froth gets taken care of the market. I don't believe we're in bubble territory. People from Jamie Dimon to Jim Rogers have been calling for a bubble in American markets for the last 5 years, and the market keeps surprising them. NVIDIA becomes such a powerful company. I don't believe that's bubblish. There is froth. Market is taking care of that. And, it's... what the wise words were said to us when we first entered the market: caveat emptor, buyer beware. We need, if you're going to put our money, we're going to put a wallet on the stocks, we should be careful about what we are buying.
Meanwhile, TCS shares saw the biggest single-day decline in 20 months, losing a market capitalization worth over 63,000 crore rupees in one trading session. This after a large block deal saw over 2 crore shares exchange hands for close to 8,900 crore rupees. Now, Tata Sons is the likely seller. The proceeds from the large block deal will be used by Tata Sons to pare down debt and fuel ambitions in newer areas. Reema Tendulkar is here with those details. Reema?
Thanks so much for that. So TCS is under pressure because there was this large block deal of about 2.2 crore shares which took place in the morning at an average price of 4,043. The price of 4,043 is about a 2.5% discount to where the stock closed yesterday, and the total deal size is approximately 8,900 crore. We understand that Tata Sons has sold stake, and they've sold close to about 0.6% stake. They hold about a 72.4% stake in TCS, and off that, they've pared about 0.6%. But the rest of the Tata Group stocks should also be on your radar, because if Tata Sons wants to delever further and they look to monetize their stake in the other Tata Group stocks, then this is what the shareholding looks like. So they hold more than a 40% stake in Tata Power, Tata Motors, as well as Tata Elxsi, and close to about 32% stake in Trent, Tata Steel, and Tata Chemicals.
Right, Reema, many thanks for those details. Now, shares of Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC were under pressure today after an offer for sale launched by promoters Aditya Birla Capital and Sun Life India. The OFS is likely to see promoters sell up to 11.5% of equity for nearly 1,500 crore rupees. The issue involves a green shoe option of around 4.5% and has a floor price of 450 rupees per share. The share sale comes after promoter Aditya Birla Capital announced a merger with Aditya Birla Finance and is looking to divest some stake to comply with minimum shareholding norms. Union Government Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has said that the first made-in-India semiconductor chip will be made available in the market by December. Speaking at the Rising Bharat Summit, he added that India's first bullet train will be ready by 2026.
दिसंबर 2024 में पहली मेड इन इंडिया चिप मार्केट में आ जाएगी. दिसंबर 2024 ज़्यादा दूर नहीं भाई, गिन के नोट करके रख लेना आप लोग. दिसंबर 2024 में पहली चिप आने वाली है. देखो, 1962 से प्रयास हुआ, लेकिन किसी भी प्रयास के पीछे जब तक सही नीति और सही आपका फंडामेंटल कन्विक्शन नहीं होता, तब तक नहीं हो पाता.
The Supreme Court has directed Baba Ramdev and Patanjali Ayurved's Managing Director Acharya Balakrishna to be personally present in court. This comes after Ramdev failed to respond to a contempt notice issued against him over misleading advertisements. Ashmit Kumar joins us now with those details. Ashmit, what are you picking up?
Well, the Supreme Court's message is quite clear that there will be consequences. Consequences to what? Repeated non-adherence to Supreme Court orders. That is what the Apex Court has taken exception to. Now, let's keep in mind that this is a dispute that goes way back to the COVID era. There was a dispute between the Indian Medical Association, Allopathic Medicine, versus Patanjali Ayurved. Patanjali Ayurved had come out with a smear campaign, is what the IMA had called it. They essentially sought to bring about their own products, Patanjali Ayurved, claiming for them to have medicinal value, claiming to cure BP, diabetes. November 2023 is when the Apex Court had passed very clear directions that no such advertisements shall be allowed. These advertisements did not stop, and subsequently in February, the Apex Court had issued a contempt notice to Baba Ramdev as well as to Patanjali Ayurved seeking answers. And today was the next date of hearing. No response has been filed. So this invited some strong words from the Apex Court. The Supreme Court has assured that there will be consequences for these actions, or rather lack of them. The Supreme Court has issued a contempt notice to not just Patanjali Ayurved but also to Baba Ramdev, has asked him to be personally present before the next date of hearing to explain why he should not be facing action at the hands of the Apex Court with respect to contempt of court. And that is an answer he'll have to give in person. So clearly, the Apex Court looking to bring about adherence to its orders, asking for personal appearance and warning of consequences. Back to you.
So we'll have to wait and watch what happens. Thank you so much for those details, Ashmit. But moving on, it was a tepid debut for the Kerala-based automobile dealer Popular Vehicles and Services. The company listed at a discount of nearly 2% to the issue price. The stock debuted at 289 rupees per share on the NSE as against an offer price of 295 rupees a share. Meanwhile, on the BSE, the stock was listed at 292 rupees. The company's IPO was fully subscribed on the final day of the bidding process. The resignation of HDFC Bank's mortgage business head Arvind Kapil has brokerages worried. Analysts have said that this move might be negative for the stock in the near term and will continue to monitor the company if there are more senior management exits in the future. Ritu Singh joins us now with the details. Ritu, take us through what the brokerages are saying.
HDFC Bank veteran Arvind Kapil is leaving the bank to take over as MD and CEO of Poonawalla FinCorp, and this has got the street flagging some potential attrition risk at HDFC Bank. Now, Arvind Kapil has been with the bank for more than 25 years and he currently heads the mortgage business there, managing a book of nearly 7.5 trillion rupees, which constitutes almost 30% of HDFC Bank's total loan portfolio. Now, while there have been more than a dozen exits from HDFC Bank since its long-time CEO Aditya Puri moved on in 2020, including many because of retirement as well, Arvind Kapil's is the first major exit from the bank under CEO Sashidhar Jagdishan, apart from Santosh Nair, who quit as the CEO of HDFC Sales to join Bandhan Bank as the head of consumer lending in February this year. Now, Macquarie said given the sheer size of the mortgage portfolio and the material importance of distribution, it sees this as a key managerial personal risk and will continue to monitor any further senior management or business head resignations. Jefferies said the move is a tad negative given Arvind Kapil's seniority and the risk of attrition of teams. So retention and smooth transition is going to be key, but HDFC Bank's strong talent base is a comfort, according to Jefferies. However, there are others like Nomura who said that the move will not have a material impact on the bank's business because it has significant depth in its senior management, but any similar churn over the near to medium term is going to be a key monitorable going forward.
Right, Ritu, many thanks for those details. Now, FMCG giant Unilever has plans to separate its ice cream unit, which includes Magnum and Ben & Jerry, into a standalone division. According to Reuters, this cost restructuring program will impact at least 7,500 jobs. The plan will come into action immediately and is expected to be completed by the end of 2025. The company is also expected to save nearly $870 million in the next 3 years under this new plan. On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, with exactly a month to go for the first phase of polling, Tamil Nadu has seen the majority of the NDA get back together. In a late-night development, the PMK announced that it would be contesting with the BJP. Details when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Business 360. With exactly a month to go for the first phase of polling, Tamil Nadu has seen the majority of the NDA get back together. In a late-night development, the PMK announced that it would be contesting with the BJP. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the party leadership made the call despite the rank and file wanting to ally with the principal opposition, the AIA-DMK. Jude Santh brings us more on the latest developments in Tamil Nadu. Jude, what are your sources telling you at this point?
Well, like you rightly mentioned there, this was a late-night development on the part of the PMK or the Patanjali Katchi, and we're told by sources that it was a decision taken at the very top of the leadership, despite the rank and file of the party really wanting to ally with the AIADMK, which, remember, was perhaps the key cog in the wheel as far as the NDA was concerned the last time around. However, for whatever it's worth, what this alliance now means is that for all practical purposes, the NDA, which comprised mainly of the BJP, the PMK, and of course the Tamil Manila Congress, led by G.K. Vasan, another union minister, as was Dr. Anbani Ramadas of the PMK the last time around in the UPA government, are now back together in the run-up to the 2024 polls. But remember, it's still missing a key ally in the AIADMK, which for all we know might well contest alone this time around. Let's take a quick look at what these numbers are like for each of these parties. Still quite minuscule. The BJP, remember, in 2019 had just about 3.66% by way of a vote share in Tamil Nadu. The PMK was about 5.36%. The DMDK, remember, that's the late actor Vijay Gandhi's party, which we're told both the BJP and the AIADMK are in talks with, trying to convince the party to join their alliance or their combine, still has about 2.16% of a vote share as of 2019. So it's a coming together of smaller regional parties in Tamil Nadu plus the BJP to form the NDA. But the fact remains that the bigwig in the AIADMK still finds itself left out and might well contest the elections all on its own.
Right, so that's the latest in Tamil Nadu. Thank you, Jude, for bringing us those details. Now, Union Minister Pashupati Paras resigned a day after his Rashtriya Lok Janshakti Party was completely sidelined by the BJP, which confirmed a seat-sharing deal with Chirag Paswan's Lok Janshakti Party. Paras also withdrew his party from the NDA and said that his party faced grave injustice. The Lok Janshakti Party, founded by Ram Vilas Paswan, had split into two factions after his death, with son Chirag commanding one and brother Paras leading the other. Former ambassador to the US, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, joins the BJP ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Reports suggest he may be fielded from Amritsar. Sandhu served as ambassador to the United States from 2020 to 2024. Before his assignment in Washington, Sandhu was High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka. Raj Thackeray met Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi amid speculation that the Maharashtra Navnirman Seva could join the NDA. Currently, the alliance in Maharashtra comprises the BJP, Eknath Shinde-led Shiv Sena, and the NCP, led by Ajit Pawar. The BJP has already announced candidates for 20 out of 48 seats in the state. Union Minister and senior leader Nitin Gadkari, while speaking at the Rising Bharat Summit, said Maharashtra's seat distribution talks were in its final stages.
जब तक कैंडिडेट तय नहीं होते हैं तब तक एक सीट है 10 उम्मीदवार हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत तो चर्चाएं होती रहती है, थोड़ा बहुत विवाद होते रहता है, ये ऑब्वियस है। और मुझे लगता है कि अभी लगभग फाइनल हो जाएगा और हम लोग मिलकर लड़ेंगे और महाराष्ट्र में हमको बहुत शानदार जीत मिलेगी, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है।
राज ठाकरे दिल्ली में है और राज ठाकरे अगर दिल्ली में है तो कुछ तो बड़ा चल रहा है, तो क्या अलायंस होने की बात है?
पार्टी के पदाधिकारी, पार्टी के अध्यक्ष और पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड, प्रधानमंत्री जो निर्णय करेंगे वो करेंगे।
Nitin Gadkari also responded to the opposition's charges of favoritism in infra projects after the electoral bond revelations. Gadkari said not a single project was given without an online tender and the process was transparent. Infra companies were among the top electoral bond donors.
एक भी काम हमने ई टेंडर के बिना नहीं किया है और मैं आपके सामने नम्रतापूर्वक आह्वान करता हूं कि एक भी आदमी ऐसा होगा, आपको कानून में भी बताएगा कोई काम के लिए हमको पैसे देने पड़ेंगे तो मुझे आप बोलो, वो सज़ा मैं स्वीकारने के लिए तैयार हूं। हम पूरी तरह ट्रांसपेरेंट, करप्शन फ्री, टाइम बाउंड और क्वालिटी कमिटमेंट के साथ हमने सबसे काम किया है।
The government's big announcement in the interim budget was a new rooftop solar scheme. The PM later announced an allocation of 75,000 crore rupees for this scheme. But this is not the first time the government is nudging households to install rooftop solar panels. As part of our ongoing series Election Exchange, CNBC-TV18's Abhimanyu Sharma reports that this scheme is a new and improved version of 11,800 crore rupee rooftop solar scheme launched in 2014, which aimed for 40 gigawatts of solar energy by 2022. Take a look.
1 crore households will be enabled to obtain up to 300 units free electricity every month. savings up to 15 to 18,000 rupees annually for households from free solar electricity and selling the surplus to the distribution companies.
The aim of this new rooftop solar scheme was to accelerate India's transition to renewable energy. Called the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, it had an outlay of 75,000 crore rupees for 5 years, and the government hopes 1 crore beneficiaries will get 300 units of free power through rooftop solar installations, helping them save up to 18,000 rupees every year. This is the second scheme to promote installation of solar panels on rooftops. In 2014, the government launched the rooftop solar program that aimed to achieve a cumulative installed capacity of 40 gigawatts by 2022. This deadline was extended to 2026, but as of November 2023, only 10.4 gigawatt capacity had been achieved. But slow offtake does not mean beneficiaries are unhappy with the scheme.
ये 10 किलोवाट का है पूरा सिस्टम और इसमें करीब 6 लाख रुपए करीब मेरे लगे हैं 1 लाख प्लस सब्सिडी मिली थी शायद मेरा बिल आएगा नहीं जब मैं रहूँगा तब भी नेट मीटरिंग है तो वो जितना भी बन रहा है सब मेरा डिपॉजिट हो रहा है
Net metering is a billing system whereby a consumer who generates electricity can use any excess energy generated at any point in the future at no extra cost. The allocation of the earlier rooftop solar scheme was roughly 12,000 crore rupees. The government has now decided to give a big boost to the scheme with a 75,000 crore allocation. Beneficiaries get 300 units of free electricity per month. Consumers would get subsidies in the range of rupees 3,000 to rupees 78,000 for solar systems, collateral-free, low-interest loans, and beneficiaries may even earn some income through sale of surplus power generated from their rooftop solar panels to DISCOMs. Industrial users of solar energy who avail the solar energy subsidy offered by Delhi state and not central subsidies are also seeing benefits.
I got it installed in last year, 2023. The expenses is around 50 lakh rupees. I think I can get it recovered within 3 to 5 years. That covers all my office and factory consumption. Almost every month I'm not getting any electricity bill.
Through net metering, we have received a good reduction in our electricity bill.
But experts say there are multiple reasons the earlier scheme did not take off as well as earlier expected. From cumbersome paperwork for individuals interested in installing rooftop systems, to finding and negotiating with installation providers, to obtaining clearances from DISCOMs. Many also point out that beneficiaries have been facing delays in subsidy disbursements.
The subsidy amount was around 1.17 lakhs was to be credited to my account, but unfortunately that has not come as yet. People lose the charm of going in for the scheme until unless it is timely executed.
It's important to have a fully integrated supply chain in India. So manufacturing is a big focus. PLI for high efficiency solar PV modules is going to be the mainstay.
Smoothing out many of these wrinkles will mean that the new avatar of the rooftop solar energy scheme sees some strong traction. And that will be a big plus for the government, which hopes this new and improved 75,000 crore rupee rooftop solar scheme will accelerate India's adoption of solar energy in the overall renewable energy mix and get it closer to its green energy targets. In New Delhi, this is Abhimanyu Sharma for CNBC-TV18.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Business 360. More news and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.